All right, welcome, Monsters fans, to what we're calling our Monsters Distancing Dialogues. Episode number one is with, as you can see, the one and only Brad Thiessen. Tease, thanks a lot for taking some time. I think you might have a little bit of it on your hands right now, right?
There's a little bit of time we got. The kids take up most of it, but always got time for you and the fans here in Cleveland.
Really appreciate it, man. Let's just start there. I mean, you've got a full house. You got a lot of folks in a small area right now dealing with this distancing situation. How's everything going with you, your wife, your kids?
Yeah, it's been good, thanks. It's we have a 5, 3, and a 1 year old, and I think at the beginning, the first few days, it was a lot of checking the phone all the time, trying to see kind of where things were going, where things were at, and I think once you get past those first few days and you kind of realize you're in it for the long haul here and trying to adhere to all the guidelines and whatnot. Um, we tried to set up a routine so that each day you're kind of feel like you're accomplishing something. I think sometimes it's easy to, I don't know, maybe you get up at 7 o'clock with the kids, and you're just counting down the hours till 8 o'clock when they go to bed, and you just kind of check the day off and move on to the next. But this is the time we're in, so trying to be productive with that time and get the kids active as you can, whether it be in the basement or if it's anything. The rule is anything above 35 degrees, you bundle them up, we go for a walk, and get the fresh air. So it's been good.
Yeah, I mean it's that's the big challenge for everybody right now. It's like you said, trying to stay productive, but also understanding that this is an important thing we're all doing in staying at home, helping our communities, our healthcare workers, limit the amount of people that they have to deal with on a daily basis. But just in terms of filling those hours, what are some of the things that you guys have been creative in finding activity wise for the young the younger guys?
Yeah, it's we're working on our sports downstairs. It's a lot of hockey. The kids have been singing a lot of the monster songs that they play at the games before we go on the ice. So we've been recreating some games, and um, there's a little putting green we got downstairs. We do a little bit of that,
Nice.
basketball. Um, Yesterday as the weather kind of got nice, we were able to get the bikes and the rollerblades out to one of the metro parks, so you'll be able to kind of get some fresh air and still maintain some of that social distancing, keep it away from people, but get the legs moving. So that was a welcome change to be able to do that yesterday. Um, it's just a lot of family time right now, reading books. My son, he's in pre-K, so they have like a little bit of kind of a syllabus or whatever the teacher wants us to
Mhm.
work on with him at home. So, well, it's not to the level that a lot of kids have to do, and parents are having to do and help kids with their homework and schoolwork at home. Um, we're trying to do some of that with him as well here. So, doing the best we can with what we got.
Yeah, you said it. How about, of course, it was kind of weird the way things, and the season's not necessarily over. We want to be clear about that. Right now we're paused, just like the NHL is. The AHL is in a similar situation. We're awaiting guidance on what's going to happen. But it was an abrupt kind of ending, I think, for all of us. Just take us through from your perspective. I know for me, I rode the bus back after that last game in Charlotte on the 11th. So by the time we got back, there was news, there were headlines, and then eventually we were told sort of what the situation was. But a lot of the team, including yourself, flew back the next day. So just take us through kind of what was an abrupt end to at least for the time being to the season.
Yeah, it was. I remember you and I sitting on the bus, kind of sitting together, going to the game on that a Wednesday night in Charlotte, and hearing the news that we would be playing the Sunday game without any fans. So that was kind of
Right.
where we were at that point. And then you go to the game, and I was up in the stands with Kevin Schmaltzy, and we were watching the game and kind of following along on our phones with what was going on in the world. And that was the night that the NBA with Rudy Gobert and the Utah Jazz, that they found out that he was positive, and that shut that down. And so then our game ended, and that was kind of where the talk was NBA was going to suspend their season, and we were still kind of up in the air. And then by the time I remember going to the airport the next morning, and it was guys are asking a lot of questions and wondering what's going to happen. Dylan Simpson's our players union reps, or badgering him as he see what he's hearing and stuff like that. But I think through it all, especially with the Columbus organization, we get daily email updates, kind of sometimes there's not really an update, but still some correspondence with the team and where things are at, where things are, going or not going right now. So for the most part, we've been well informed on everything, and so we definitely can't complain with that.
Yeah, just wanted to take a quick second to pause here and talk about, of course, we're all lucky, right? I mean, we're in a situation where we can stay home and we can be with our families and try to keep all of ourselves out of harm's way as much as possible. And that's for the sake of everyone, but it's also a luxury to not have to deal with the daily anxiety of going out and doing your job. There's a lot of folks in our community and a lot of folks in our Monsters family that don't have that luxury, that are essential workers or perhaps in the food service industry or working for small businesses that are taking a serious hit right now. So I just wanted to pause really quick and recognize some of our food partners that make a big difference for us throughout the season. Some of those would include Shake Shack. I want to remind all you guys that they've got 2 locations at downtown and at Pinecrest. They're open for takeout and call ahead orders. Fairview Tavern on Lorraine Road in Fairview Park is open for call ahead orders and takeout. Piata has multiple locations offering lots of different great food for takeout and delivery. Margaritaville in the East Bank and the Flats open for takeout and delivery. Nuevo Modern Mexican and Tequila Bar, their location downtown on East 9th Street on the lake is open for takeout and delivery. Of course, Otani Noodle downtown on Euclid Avenue and, of course, uptown at University Circle. Same deal, takeout delivery there. Quaker Steak and Lube, multiple locations. They're open as well for delivery and for takeout. Rascal House, we know there are 5 locations, all open for delivery and takeout. Downtown Euclid, University Circle, University Heights, and Maple Heights. Their 4 neighborhood locations are doing pretty well right now, but their downtown location needs our support with so many businesses shut down. And of course, BA Sweeties, they're placing the health of their communities first and foremost, but they're currently closed. But with Easter around the corner, we'd encourage everybody to hop online and get all the candy needs you need to take care of, taken care of at sweetiescandy.com. You can shop safely and comfortably from the comfort of your own home for all the great traditional Easter candy. So with that said, Thies, it's important to support those small businesses that are really, really hurting right now, as so many people are across our country. But what are you guys doing for, staying fed and maybe having some fun with some cooking, some stuff around the house? How are you guys sort of getting through that dimension of this stay-at-home order?
Yeah, it's been interesting to kind of see how things have changed over the time, even just going to the grocery store. I remember getting back from Charlotte that one, I think it was a Thursday, next day going to Costco trying to load up, and it was just, a madhouse. Everyone out trying to get food and shopping. And then, last week I remember going on my own again, and it was kind of tamed down a little bit. And then yesterday I went to go stock up some more, and, there's nobody there almost. So everyone's kind of adhering to protocols and things. But we've tried to help some small businesses out, get some takeout food here on the west side and try and help those businesses out wherever we can. But made some homemade ice cream last night. Kids like that. And,
nice.
So yeah, trying to switch things up and do some creative things around the house.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we got back, like I said, on the bus before you guys flew the next day back from Charlotte. But yeah, I went to the store on my way home. We got to the practice rink. I was heading home. It's probably 6, 7 in the morning. It was kind of eerie, right? I mean, everyone was sort of wondering where this was all headed, but hopefully everybody's able to get what they need. We want to emphasize too, I know we're getting this message from the governor on a daily basis and from, everybody, but the supply chain is intact. No need to hoard supplies, no need to go over the top. But you should, when you do leave the house, we're told by the CDC and everybody, get enough so that you don't have to leave again for a couple of weeks if possible. So just some friendly advice for everybody there. We're talking here with Brad Thiessen. It's our first edition of our Monsters Distancing Dialogues. That's what we're calling this. And it's a way to stay in touch, which is another important thing throughout this process. We are physically isolated. That doesn't mean that we need to be totally isolated from others and those that are important to us. So Thies, with that in mind, how much talk have you had with your teammates, maybe with the coaching staff throughout this process? I know you guys have been given the all clear to go back to, your year-round homes for the guys that aren't in Cleveland the way that you are year-round. But what's the, conversation been like, and how have you guys stayed in touch in terms of your teammates and the coaches?
Yeah, I'd say for the first, 3 or 4 days after things kind of shook down, it was, there was a lot of chatter on our team group chat, just trying to kind of figure things out, what the rules were, what we can and can't do, and where guys were going to be going, were they allowed to go home. And so kind of once all those things were figured out, guys kind of went their separate ways to, I think most guys are, found their way back to, their off-season residence for now, just to kind of be closer to family and normalcy for them, and be able to quarantine in their own ways there. So, yeah, now it's just kind of trying to shoot texts out to different guys here and there, and try and encourage everyone to adhere to the protocols that are in place, and do what you can. I know staying in shape is a challenge at this time as well. So guys are trying to figure out, the best ways to do that. And the good thing is we're all in the same boat here. So I think everyone
Right.
knows that it's not easy, and just to kind of do what you can.
It leads perfectly into my next question. I was going to ask you about that. I mean, it's not a situation where the AHL or the NHL, for that matter, has said, that's it for this year. So you guys are in a state of sort of being on call a little bit. I'm sure there will be, if things were to resume, there'd be a period of time for everyone to get back ready, get back in shape, almost like a training camp type situation. But how much guidance are you guys getting in terms of the expectation of being ready to play, and how are you staying in shape? What are some of the things you're doing in terms of fitness?
Yeah, Kevin Schmaltzried, our strength and conditioning coach, he kind of sent out an email early on, just kind of, loosely giving us some ideas just for some running exercises and things outside, because I think cardio is probably the hardest thing to maintain at this point without access to gyms or things like that. So strength and cardio are something that it's it's back to the Rocky days when you're doing push-ups and sit-ups and some sprints outside and things like that. But there's also other programs. My wife does some things on the TV, and I've joined in some group fitness classes on there in the living room, and trying to get the heart rate going and stuff like that. So there's those kind of things. But then also I think big is flexibility. You can always be stretching and trying to keep the body loose and limber for when we do try and get going again. And also as best you can, eating right. I think it's easy to let that slide at times like this, but if you can try and maintain a certain standard of what you're eating, that'll kind of set you up for success when things get going.
Absolutely. It's a time where we're all trying to get creative in that dimension, and in staying healthy. It's a time when if you watch the news constantly, if you get this messaging all the time, it's easy to get pretty freaked out. I mean, to be honest, in this situation. But I can say for myself, like my soon-to-be sister-in-law is a yoga instructor, so I've dipped my toe in that water there a little bit. So that's a new thing.
Yoga outfit going too, or?
We're easing into it. It's more of a lifestyle, really, but I'm not there yet. But we're getting there. But yeah, it's just I wanted to ask you about this too. I mean, all of us in this business are on the road so much throughout the year. We spend so much time together, you with your teammates, and all of us as a staff on the road. It is one of the bright sides, in my opinion, is having more time to be with our loved ones right now and be at home, specifically at a time of year when that's not typical. So if there is a silver lining to be had there, at least for me, I know that's a big one. Are you enjoying this? I'm sure you are, but are you guys all as a family enjoying this time that usually is just really hard to come by?
Yeah, I think we are. I think you said it. It's easy to get caught up every day, just getting fixated on your phone or on the TV about what's going on, and like you said, I think there's a fine line between being informed and having too much where you're kind of living in fear and panic of the situation. So I think getting your daily updates and being informed and being able to go and enjoy the people around you. I think some of the cool things that have happened around even just our neighborhood, we have a Facebook group, and they a couple of days ago came up with an idea to kind of do a couple of different things for the kids around. So 2 days ago they had a safari day, so everyone put stuffed animals out around their yards and stuff, so the kids could walk around and see different animals. And then today it was a chalk walk, so everyone was out, drawing chalk art and different sayings and things like that. So the kids had a blast going around seeing all the different things. So you can kind of have community together without really being physically together in the same spot. So I think some things like that have brought out some positives.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing when people face a collective hardship, how they kind of rise up together. It's a great statement for the people of this country, in my opinion, and just the people in Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio. I mean, everybody pulls together at a time like this. So I wanted to sort of end on a little bit more serious note, but before we get there, I got to ask you. A lot of people, it's just the nature of being at home, are spending a lot of time watching stuff on TV, right? Whether it's movies or TV shows. That's a big part of life when you're stuck in your house like around the clock. So I got to ask you, this is the hot topic. Have you watched the Netflix show Tiger King yet, Tease?
No, I was only made aware of it yesterday. I think was the first time that I heard of it, and we're not. My
Probably
wife,
not age appropriate for
yeah,
the
I'll keep
youngsters,
that
but
one. We've gone through Cars 1, 2, and 3 a few times already. Well,
there you go.
that's where we're at. But uh, yeah, my wife and I aren't too big into the shows. I've gone into the 30 for 30 library a few times and
Nice.
watched a couple of those. I'm a big sports kind of documentary, that line of things. Honestly, by the end of the day, we're pretty tired and it's time to go to bed. So we're
Well,
not
that's
staying up till
probably a
the
good thing
3 hours
at
of the
the end
night
of the day.
watching. Yeah.
All right. Well, Tease, we're just about out of time here, but I wanted to again just thank you for taking this time. It's nice to talk to you and good to see you. And I'm happy that everyone's doing well over there. Before we go, though, we know that the real heroes of this moment, and there are a lot of them. I mean, it's of course the grocery workers, all the essential workers right now, the truck drivers of this country, keeping the supply chain going. But for me, I come from a medical family. My sister's a doctor. My dad's a physician. Both my grandpas were doctors. And so for me right now, it's all about the healthcare workers. We know that there's a really difficult situation and downright scary situation across the country right now in terms of personal protective gear and all of that stuff. But it's those frontline healthcare workers that are keeping us safe. So I wanted to pause just for a minute. We'll talk about this in a second, but I wanted to recognize some of our medical partners, make our fans aware that are watching this right now of some things that are going on. First of all, our friends at Hudak Dental, they're huge supporters of the Monsters and wanted to let everyone know they are open, but for emergency services only. They just also announced a way to continue helping patients through a virtual submission tool. So patients that are experiencing any dental pain or have any dental related questions, they can fill out a form on their website, and one of their doctors will review the information, provide feedback to the patient, sort of a telemedicine type setup that they need to come in for an emergency appointment if that's necessary, or how to manage until they're back to normal hours. That service is available to all individuals in Northeast Ohio, 100% free of charge. Hudak is just looking to do their part and keep everyone healthy and safe. So we're happy to hear that from our partners at Hudak Dental. Also, we're proud to have University Hospitals as a partner, and we stand behind them as their healthcare professionals are working very hard to keep patients in our communities safer during this time. Thank you to our friends at University Hospitals. For more info regarding the coronavirus health and safety procedures, please visit. It's a great source of information, uhhospitals.org/services/coronavirus. And finally, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, they offer flexible group insurance plans for every size business and choose from a variety of group medical, pharmacy, dental, vision, life, and disability plans. They also are a huge opportunity for small employers. So to all of them, but also, Tease, just to all of the individual healthcare workers, nurses, physicians, anybody in that industry right now. I don't know where we'd be in this country without them. So I know we all feel the same way about that topic, but if you just have any message to those healthcare professionals out there, I know from me personally and from our organization, it's an eternal feeling of gratitude and support to them, and that will continue forever. But for you and your family, any word to the healthcare workers out there sacrificing their well-being for all of us?
Yeah, definitely, Tony. I mean, you said it well there. I know my wife, she's a physical therapist in the University Hospital Network, and she's knows a lot of friends or nurses and doctors downtown, and just the amazing work that they're doing right now, and definitely less than ideal circumstances. They're plowing through and doing what's best for everyone else and looking for their needs ahead of their own. So it's definitely we're indebted to them. We're doing everything we can to try and give them the strength that they need this time, because we know that it's not easy for them, not only in Cleveland but around the world right now for sure. You see and read and hear a lot of stories about things that are going on in some pretty tough situations, and the doctors and all the medical healthcare workers are the real heroes right now. So we thank them for everything that they're doing.
Amen. And, I just want to, before we say so long, just talking to all the fans out there, I know the temptation when it comes to protective equipment, masks, gloves, any of those sorts of things. The temptation is to make sure your family's taken care of. But we want to reinforce that if you're healthy, if you're asymptomatic, you don't need that equipment. And the people who need it are the people in the hospitals. So if you do happen to have any sort of those things lying around the house, whether it be masks or disposable gloves, please get in your car. It's the one time it's really okay to leave your house right now. Drive to the nearest hospital and donate them. Those are the people that really need those pieces of equipment. So with that said, Thiessen, this is a wild time. It's a weird feeling, I know, for all of us. Definitely is for me. We're hopeful that we can get back to playing hockey and thinking about those things that we, probably take for granted throughout the year, doing this and working in this industry. But just really appreciate your time. Thanks for making some time here, carving out a little bit of what is, I'm sure, a very busy day over there at the Thiessen household. But it's good to see you, good to talk to you. Thanks for doing this, and look forward to keeping in touch.
Yeah, Tony, I appreciate giving me the chance to talk here today. And it's tough at times like this. You always think like sports is something that kind of brings everyone together in times like these, and right now we're on the sidelines as well. So we're all in this together, and hopefully one day soon we'll be able to help bring some normalcy back to everyone's life.
That's the plan. And in the meantime, stay home, stay safe. And it's been about 25 minutes, so you better go wash your hands right now after we're done here. But thanks again, Tees. Good to see you, and we'll talk soon.
No problem. Thanks, Tony.
All right. This has been the first edition of our Monsters Distancing Dialogues. Look for this segment throughout the coming weeks, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's conversation. Make sure you let us know who you'd like to hear from in the Monsters universe next. Thanks again. I'm Tony Brown. Until next time, this has been your Monsters Distancing Dialogue. Stay safe, everybody.